Let's first quickly go over it and do it again, just so you can see it once more fresh. There's my original three-term analogy called the mean analogy. What's the first thing I do? What's the first thing I do? Switch the terms within the ratio. This is a ratio. This is a ratio. Therefore, I could equally say, what do I do next? I connect the terms between the ratios. Therefore, it's going to be BC, AB. Agree? All right. Now that I've done that, what can I do? Switch them again. Now, try it. When you go home, try it. See whether you can generate anything other than these four by following these rules. I think you will see that those are the only possibilities. Now, let me raise an issue for you. All right? Yes, sir.
Sounds like the Muslims say God is God, which is completely, to me, meaningless. They say God is God.
Oh, but this will say something far more interesting than that. Watch. Would you agree that if we want to say something is beautiful, it's likely to have at least four qualities to it? Right? There should be some order, some pattern. Right? Some balance and symmetry. Agree? Those are usually the classic signs of something being beautiful. Okay, now, the transformations of a mean analogy has a double symmetry. Very unusual. It doesn't have symmetry, it has a double symmetry. Watch. A is in the first place, second place, third place, fourth place. Would you agree if any object has symmetry, we should be able to draw an axis through it and fold it over and have a superimposition of the points one with the other? Such as, if you have a face, right? If you make an axis passing it through vertically, you can then, as it were, fold it over, and therefore there should be a superimposition of all the points of the one upon the other. Notice this only has one axis. You can't do it this way, can you?
No.
Otherwise you'd have a head on the top of your head. I mean a mouth on top of your head, and that would be rather inconvenient. So that has single symmetry. But look at this. Would you agree we can now fold this over? C is C, B, B, right? Would you agree? Splendid. By the way, doesn't it have another line of symmetry? Can we not do the same thing with C's? Fold it over? Would you agree?
I'm troubled with the term transformation, because I would call that manipulation.
As long as you mean by manipulation simply the folding over.
Because a transformation to me means that you don't see the butterfly in the caterpillar.
Oh, you're quite right. That's a different kind of transformation. You're absolutely right. That's right.
Okay, so you're not talking about
That's
that
right.
kind of
That's right.
transformation.
That's right. You're quite right. That's right. It's a different kind.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holding it along the axis of the C then?
Well, do it. What would happen if you were to do that?
Instead of this way, it's like...
If C, you'd have to pick up this and fold it over here, wouldn't you?
Right.
Would you have A on top of A?
Right.
Would you have B on top of B?
Right.
B on top of B, and so on?
Yeah.
Ah.
I see.
Would you agree, double symmetry?
Yeah.
Look here. Let's take a look at this. Would you agree there's something curious here? Here are the extreme terms, A and C. Would you agree they become the mean terms They become the mean terms. Look at this. We have something else that's curious. Look what happens to B. B circles the entire thing. Is that an interesting property? Interesting pattern. A and B is a ratio. Remember when we switched the terms within the ratio? That's this, isn't it? Do you see that that moves from the antecedent position to the subsequent? A is to B is B is to A. A is to B is B is to A. Right. What do you think happens then to the ratio B is to C, C is to B? It moves, does it not? We can see it duplicated here. Right? Therefore, would you not agree? Take the face. You can't say that this side, all right, let's see if I can make my face once again so we can see it. A face is a good example, or a tree, right? A face or a tree. Right. Notice that we can't, there's a certain number of things in this quadrant and differs from this side, doesn't it? It's top heavy, isn't it, in terms of the number of things in the space in which it occupies. Therefore, it has a balance going left to right in the upper quadrants, but not lower. Therefore, this has a balance, doesn't it, as it switches from one to the other. It has a double symmetry. It has a balance. It has an interesting pattern. Now look here. There's something else that's curious. Do you see this, the way these terms proceed? Now we're taking the terms in the way in which we generated them. We're taking the terms in the way in which we generated them. A is to B as B is to C. Do you see this line? A is to B as B is to C. Notice, it's the opposite. It's the opposite here. Look here. A is to B as B is to C. C is to B as B is to A. Look here. A is to B as B is to C, so equally this way, isn't it? A is to B as B is to C. Would you expect this to be true as well? That's right. Would you expect this to be true? Would you expect this to be true? Well, let's see. A is to B as B is to C. A is to B as B is to C. Same thing. Going laterally and horizontally. Hey, C is to B as B is to A. By heavens, good night. What do you know about that? Right? But look here. A is to B as B is to C. The opposite. C is to B as B is to A. C is to B as B is to A. Same thing going this way, isn't it? C is to B as B is to A. Right? C is to B as B is to A. Agree? B is to A as C is to B. It's exactly the opposite of that. Going the other way is this, isn't it? You also have the relationships going this way. Wait a minute. This term, AB, BC, my extreme terms are A and B. They shift, do they not, to the middle position? Why, good heavens. So therefore my extremes and means change, do they not? Does that show a great deal of order? Does that show a great deal of patterns which are apparent? Wait a minute. What did we say about this? If we can show some way of indicating these properties, what must it have intrinsically? Beauty. Now look here. Try this now. If anyone has an eye for this, they can use it. If you can find